light-skinned niggas to my show.
You're light skinned, so you don't really know exactly how it feels, you know?
What you running your mouth for? Because you ain't got nothing to live for.
I'm a superstar. Ask somebody.
Spit all what the bad girls find?
Hey, peace and blessings, everybody. In this video titled Unify or Die, I'd like to explain how our disunity is killing us, destroying us, and definitely going to ultimately destroy us if we do not unify. And I just really wanted to kind of point out a few things that I don't believe that we are always as conscious of. And I believe that it's due to definitely a unconscious type of programming, a social programming that has taken place, one that is very counterproductive for us as an individual and definitely for us as a society. And whether it was done intentionally or not, I have not gathered the information to say that. However, I could definitely believe that it could have been. When you think about the whole concept and principle of divide and conquer, that if you keep a people divided, and especially fighting against each other, then as long as you are controlling that, as long as you're the reason behind why they're fighting with each other, then you are also in the position to always be able to ultimately control that of those people. So unify or die. Have you ever noticed how this message is specifically for blacks. Of course, anybody of the world could pull from it and apply it to their own lives, but black people are my ultimate concern, my primary concern, because they are my world and I am their world, and it is from that foundation I come from, and I must do what I can to restructure it and rebuild it in order for us to be where we should be in this world. And so with that being said, have you ever noticed how we find everything to be divided about? Have you ever noticed that? Have you ever noticed how even if we work in the same company, it can be this floor against that floor. It can be this side of the office against that side of the office. It can be because he wear green and that person likes blue. It can be because that individual drives Cadillacs and we in the Navigator Club. You know, that you got this bike group versus that bike group. You got this side of town versus that side of town. You have on the same side of town, this neighborhood versus that neighborhood. You got this school versus that school. You have these groups of teachers that only mess with this group of teachers. I mean, only, you know, that sector group of teachers because they sect off. And if you have not noticed, I want you to further give more conscious attention to how easy it is for us to always find reasons to be separated, to be divided. We say, even the so-called woke amongst us, who act like what they're trying to do is unify us by destroying something that another group is holding on to, but by ridiculing and mocking and teasing and talking down on, being disrespectful. I don't know how we can ever think that's gonna work, because if you ever think that when you weren't as awoke as you quote unquote are, right? The information that you have right now today, you didn't always have it. And therefore, you wouldn't want to be approached from a disrespectful way either. You know? So anyway, we use information to become divided about. You know, your acceptance of a source of authority versus my acceptance of a source of authority. My truth versus your truth. The way you pronounce words versus the way I pronounce words. He say Michael, I say Miguel. Right? Who's right or who's wrong? Why is that even a debate? Right? We find so many different things to debate about. And you know, one of the things that's kind of surfacing on my mind is this one of complexion, right? Darker skinned complexion versus the lighter complexion. You know, we understand where that program comes from for black people in America. We understand where the program comes from, although the original people are suffering from that tactic all over the globe. You know, this whole complexion thing, right? And so it has affected us so much so, you know, subconsciously. I would say subconscious to the point that we don't even we can be aware that it exists and still not be fully conscious or aware of how we exhibit it or exercise it inside of that unhealthy subconscious social programming. You know, and then when you think about, let's say, the darker skinned piece versus the lighter skin, because this is something I have been observing lately. You even have whether the lighter skin treat the darker skin, you know, some type of way sometimes, right? But you even have whether the darker skinned person themselves sometimes act a certain way versus a lighter skinned person. They, you know, vice versa. And because sometimes of the challenges of their complexion growing up, they begin to have a certain attitude, a certain type of way of exhibiting themselves. You know, it's just something to kind of look into as an individual, as well as I guess a person from the outside looking in as well. But my point is this here: we find everything to become divided about. You know, everything, instead of focusing on things that we agree about or have in common or the objective. You know, instead of focusing on those things, supporting and promoting and encouraging each other on the path that we own of good, instead of doing that, you know, we celebrate a culture of ridiculing each other, of talking about each other, of teasing each other, making fun of each other. And we don't understand how much that seriously stings and hurts people. As a child, they may laugh, this, that, and other. Some of us as grown people, we can remember being a child and being teased and how much it hurted. And we can be an adult and how kids shoot straight from the hip. And they'll say something to an adult about your breath stinking or why your teeth missing or whatever the case may be, right? And even that level of truth hurts because we have been cultivated in a type of culture where we don't even love the truth. We're not being cultivated to love truth when we hear it. When someone tells us the truth, it makes us sensitive. We get mad at the truth teller because of how it affected us, the way it felt, instead of loving the fact that you told me the truth. And I can't, for you to tell me the truth, knowing what it may cost you in regards to our relationship, right? I still can't help but love you for that, you know, for that reason. But again, look at all of the reasons, all of the ways that we use to become divided. And so when you ask why are we like that? I mean, outside of the program, why are we like that? As an individual, I'm saying your distinctive self, why are we like that? Because there's a reason. You know, one of the reasons I would say, we have this, a part of our divine creation is this innate mental, I would say, uprising of thinking one is better, wanting to be better. You know, according to the Holy Quran, the first act of racism, in a sense, or bigotry, was Satan against the creation of man. And according to the narrative in the Quran, Satan thought that he was better than the creation of man. So therefore, he wouldn't submit. So therefore, anybody who feels that they're better because of where they stand. And I know a lot of us say, now I don't think I'm better. I just don't mess with certain type people. You know, a lot of us don't embrace this whole bougie idea, this bougie concept, as though it's a terminology of fashion, like it's something honorable. But to be bougie is also an individual that thinks they're better. You become, you're haughty, you're arrogant. And the thing about it, you are like this not because of where you at on a spiritual level, not because of where you at on an intellectual, which is the understanding of how you apply that understanding, not because of none of that, but because of material things, or because of what you physically look like. You know? So, I say that to add to that question. Why we are like that. And you know, and I say because of our creative design, not the physical flesh. It's actually a part of our soul, our spirit. It's a God-like nature to want to be in the center, to want to be worshipped in a sense. The only thing about it, man shouldn't have that towards man. You understand what I'm saying? Man should only have that towards the rest of creation in the world, but not towards another human being. And this is where everything is going wrong. Because our God-like nature isn't mastered or cultivated right, so therefore we are exercising it against each other. We're subjugating each other. We're talking about each other. We're hating on each other. With backbiting and all other kind of things. Always this whole haughtiness idea, and it's destroying us. So let me try. 'Cause I don't want to make this too long. And so I want to try to get now into. Hopefully, I've gotten an understanding about what the problem is. I hope I've helped you identify the problem, and I hope that I've kind of established about where it comes from, because it's personal. There's a program out there, definitely. There's a cultivated program out there, definitely. However, the thing that keeps it going, how it come to be, this is a part of the inside nature too, and this is why it's perpetuated. So now, what do? How can we eradicate this? I say first and foremost is the true love and regard for self. And you see, when one starts to really start acting in a way the way you love yourself and you want better for your internal being, that part of yourself, which again is also a part of your external, when you start acting like that, and then your relation then to the supreme being, that which created, however you identify that, and then in your act, in your walk, not just in your talk, right? In the way that we exhibit and deal with humanity, because you see, our worship and reverence and fear and all that towards the supreme being is manifested through how we deal with each other. You know, like in the Bible, when Jesus say, how you gonna say you love me? No, he said, how can you say you love the Father when you don't even love your brother whom you see every day? You know what I'm saying? And this is facts. You know, so that process of making sure that relationship with the supreme being is in a healthy place, where you are humble, where you know all that you have only by his mercy, by his grace, right? And you're humble enough to appreciate what you have, and you only want best for others. And no matter when others don't have, you feel a certain empathy for them, because you know too, you're grateful that you're not in that place, but you know you could be in that place any day. You know, for you to ever reach a point and say, well, I know I'll never go there. You see, that's a haughtiness that got you corrupt in your thinking, because you're not in control like that. Not in control like that. I know it may feel like it and all that, because when it's good, it's good. But when it's bad, that's when it's time to really start facing things for what it really is. But that love of self, love of God, which then takes us to a place of true humility, which then allows us to deal with each other from a position and from a place to where I'm not calling you out your name. I'm not ridiculing you. I'm not mocking you. I'm not treating you in a way that I wouldn't want my beloveds treated. You know what I'm saying? I mean, all of that. And that's the place that we have to get to when we really want true unity and to truly unify. You know, I want to highlight this one more thing that I was thinking about in my mind. It was that when I mentioned about we have a culture that has as an entertainment of us tearing each other down and apart, right? And like the battle rap. You know, everybody likes to see a good battle rap, right? Or a fight. You see how you throw a fight on the media and how many shares and views they get? We love to see people suffer. I remember I heard, and I'm gonna say this in close, I remember I heard Serena Williams' father say, you know, he asked this group of reporters who knew about this apartment fire that happened down the street where all these apartments had burned down and stuff. And all the reporters raised their hand, they knew about this, that, and other. And he asked them about another incident, which was on a positive note, and nobody knew about it. Nobody really was aware. I think maybe a few. And he said the reason being, you say bad news, everybody wanted to see bad news. Everybody want to be in tune with the bad news. It's something about bad news that people gravitate to. From my perspective, I believe it helps others feel that they're not, helps them deal with their badness. It's like they're not alone. They say bad, what you say, misery loves company. It's kind of in that sense. But it's like to say, oh, well, I don't feel all that bad. I see that we all losing around here. I ain't just the only one losing. If I was just the only one losing, I feel real bad. But if you're the only one losing, it's a reason why you're the only one losing. Why should you be upset because they winning and you losing? Especially if y'all don't even know each other, because they ain't making you lose if y'all don't know each other. If y'all ain't dealing with each other, y'all ain't operating with each other. You know what I'm saying? The reason why I say we don't unify, we're gonna die, is because I believe that, and from my sources of authority and my teachings, that Allah created everything in oneness, meaning that the world is like a big community. The plants need the animals need the plants. Prime example, plants need carbon monoxide, we need oxygen, right? Human produce carbon monoxide, plants produce oxygen. I mean, it's really greater and bigger than that. But the way our body operates on a biological scale, is the way humanity is supposed to operate. Like, even though everybody's distinctive individual and have a certain obligation and duty, we're supposed to operate for the same objective and goal, and that's to sustain the body, which sustains the life of each individual inside the body. So if we work toward the sustainment of the world, then the world will sustain us. But because we're not working for the sustainment of the world collectively, then some of us are working against it, some of us are trying to work for it. Therefore, it's like the world or the body has a disease in it, and guess what's going to happen? It's like we're parasites, we're cancers to the world. And as a result, we're going to destroy the host that we're in and ultimately destroy ourselves. So that's why I say we don't unify. At the end of the day, we're going to die together. Peace and blessing.